Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to another Jedi Academy. I'm Ranger J 1999. Welcome back. Good morning, everybody. I know everybody's got their coffee, their breakfast croissants, and their breakfast cereals and juices as we prepare for another wonderful episode. Hey, Dr. Finn, we're on episode 69.
Okay.
You know what that means?
No.
No, I'm really asking. What does that mean?
That means we're one episode away from 70.
Okay, see, I was trying to do the math there for you. Just trying to set you up there. I threw you a softball, Finn.
I don't like math.
Well,
I lie.
You love math. I'm gonna get the hell out of here. You're such a liar. This is before he was giving me the Pythagorean theorem while I'm working on D&D stuff. It's like, well, if you take the square root of the third power, instead of 5, go to the fifth. I'm like, shut up, Finn. It is too early and I need coffee. But welcome, everybody. If you're new to the Jedi Academy, you're wondering, what is this? This is where we bring the best and the brightest of YouTubers and game changers together, and then we sprinkle in a mental damage from us, the RSG crew, to entertain and guide you. The way it works, if you have a question, this is a straight Q&A show. All you need to do is type in the word question in front of your question, or just put a question in chat properly formatted, because Dr. Finn will be scooping up all the questions, and sometimes people put statements in there we can't tell if it's a question or not. So help us to help you, help us help you, help us help you. But let's introduce who we got. We got some other people that are a little bit late, and by someone, I'm not going to say her name. T-Bunny G is late as normal, but she's probably just trying to recover still from her trip to Mexico, so she should be on in a little bit. I know Stoner Jedi was taking care of his baby, and he wanted to be on. I was like, sure, Tippet, you have to take care of the baby first. But let's see who we do have. We have, of course, the one and only, from Warrior Presents channel, Warrior.
What is happening?
What's going on?
How are everyone?
We is good. How is y'all's?
Not too bad. Not too bad.
All right, and
I heard it's a special day for Warrior.
Yes, it's. Listen, everyone, it is Warrior's birthday, so wish him a happy birthday, and also wish Nukin a happy birthday because it's his birthday as well.
And Grande.
The big,
Grande.
the two biggest
Grande.
deals in Galaxy Heroes have the same birthday. It's like the gods knew.
Mm-hmm. We were out of the same canal too, so.
Well, I don't even. I can't. We'll just leave that there. Oh my god. But happy birthday, Warrior. What are you, like 25 now or something? I don't know, I'm just guessing.
Actually, this is my big 4-0.
This is the big 4-0? Get the hell out of here. Wow.
Yes. Big 4-0.
Well, 40 is the new 20 now, so the worm has definitely turned for you, my friend. Also joining us, we've got serving our great nation, the United States of America, and the U.S. Army. We have the one and only King Felix.
Hello, everyone. I is good, and happy birthday to Warrior and the Big Deal.
Yeah. Don't forget about Nukin.
Yeah. Well, Nukin's birthday is a staple for me. I wake up every morning at 1 minute after midnight, wish him a happy birthday. Just make sure. Yeah. No, I'm good. Hope everyone else is doing well.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, last but not least, the cheese eater himself, he has permanently earned that name in my book. The one and only Mike Hunt. Mike. Oh, right. He must be.
Mike joined the call but hasn't said anything since he joined. I don't know.
I wonder if Sweary Daughter's here just giving him a hard time or something.
When has that stopped him from unmuting his mic?
Well, sometimes he does, sometimes he doesn't. It depends on if she's on a rampage or not, And by rampage, I mean every other word's an F-bomb. So,
when is it not?
I mean, if you guys have done what we're talking about, go back and listen to some of our lunch streams, and you will hear the Sweaty Daughter in her natural environment. What was it, Tuesday? It was her and her friends that were all there. Oh my god.
Wasn't it yesterday?
No, it was like Tuesday, or it was either Tuesday or Wednesday that she had her friends over, and he walked in, and we just kind of sat there for 5 minutes just listening, like we were doing a documentary in the wild. So But if you have questions, guys, go ahead and get them in. Dr. Finn is scooping them up as we speak. Glad to see you all here. Welcome. What's been going on in Galaxy Heroes, Finn? What should we get talking about while we got everybody here? We got the 3 new characters introduced. They changed some stuff for the Heroic Sith raid. Well, let's go to the birthday boy. I was going to you, Dr. Finn, but you suck. So, Warrior, all the new characters, the changes they announced yesterday to some of the teams in Rogue Sith. What kind of sticks out to you, my friend?
Too many marquee events, but I like the new characters. I just wish the new characters, so my video, you could see me visibly deflate. I had a morning to do a video, and I really do want to do good content. I really do. I promise. But I went to go do the video. I only had 2 hours on the Wednesday morning right before the announcement, which was Wednesday at noon. And so I went in and I did the little analysis of their kits and stuff like I do. And then I went in to do an arena battle. I was actually going to do a few. Normally I do 2 or 3, sometimes 4. And L3 was totally broken. I couldn't get any of the dots to stick, and I didn't know if it was the interaction between the new characters in L3, because I've never seen L3 do this before, or if it was Darth Vader, or what was broken, but the characters weren't working. And
you mean T3, or did you mean L3, the original?
L3, the old school droid that we can almost, the one we can almost farm for. Here in like a couple weeks, but anyway, no, it was L3. You couldn't get dots to stick, and like I said, I didn't know if it was the new characters kits not working because they were the ones trying to apply the dots, or if it was Darth Vader's lead, or if it was L3 or what. But it was a Darth Vader lead, so dots stay, but they weren't, and so I was just visibly deflated, and I was like, well, never mind, I'm not going to, video's over kind of thing, and they got pretty pissed off at me for that, just kind of putting out kind of subpar video quality, and it was like, well, to be fair, that's true, but to be fair, I need characters that work to showcase them too. So, it was a little bit of a moment where I started to question whether I wanted to do reveal videos ever again in the future, because it's hard to do a reveal video and show a broken Bastila and tell people Bastila's not good, and then her be the second best team in the game. You know what I mean? It's like it damages me and my channel too. So I don't know. Reveal videos are kind of a double-edged sword. You want to be the first out with info, but they're, when you're in a beta environment that's a lot of times buggy, it's like, I don't know. So there's that. And then I did something super, super sad in my heart. I don't believe in the new Sith fighter to whale on it, but I told people either whale all the way or don't do it at all. Don't buy that $30 pack unless you're gonna get it to 7 stars. Don't do any of it.
I agree,
because it's a terrible value. It's a terrible value. But I was so desperate for ship Omegas that I spent over $200 to get ship Omegas. And I used that pack to do it because that was the only pack that I could guarantee myself drops on Omegas. So
right.
I ended up getting a 7-star ship out of it, but super sad day for me because I was hoping that they would have brought packs out with the Omegas versus me having to totally gouge myself in the eyeballs for some ship Omegas. They ended up costing me like $5 a piece. It was absolutely terrible, but I got 60 ship Omegas, but not happy in the way that I did it. But so they're calling me a bit of a hypocrite for saying don't go in on the pack, and then I ended up going in on the pack. But to be fair, I did to say it. It's in my video.
Your situation's a little bit different. I mean, you were
everyone all or nothing, either go in all or not at all, and I ended up going all in just because I needed the ship Omegas, not because of the ship.
How does that make you a hypocrite if you go all in, like you said? It's either you don't buy it or you buy it all the way. You bought it all the way.
It's just my overall opinion, and it still stands for the record. Everybody, my opinion still stands. The pack's a terrible value, and I still agree with that. And if anyone asked me, should I buy the pack for Omegas, I would tell them to their face, it's a terrible value. It's a terrible value. It's the worst value in history. I've never in my life spent $200 in a game for 60 ship Omegas. And I wish I was under the impression they were bringing ship Omega packs back. And then when they didn't, I guess I got a bit desperate because Ships Arena and my Ships Arena has gotten really, really hard, really hard. And RNG has become a bigger factor lately, and I'm tired of losing half my battles because I've never experienced that. As a whale, normally with maxed out ships, you can figure out the combos that work, and then you can successfully win. And that's just not the case lately. I've been losing about half the battles. So, but anyway, it's been a bit rough on that, just because relationally that we've been a bit rocky with them and the game and the issues. But I mean, the new content's fine. I just fix the bugs first before more key events.
They need to do a month of fixing bugs and characters and stuff like that, I would say. And we were talking about this on the Wednesday show, that they are new marqueing and new charactering us to death. And we were talking about this too, that if they're going to keep putting all these characters in hard nodes, I mean, I'm starting to get a lot of feedback. I don't know about you, Warrior, or the rest of you guys, but I'm getting a lot of feedback from people like, I don't like this anymore. Whales don't like it. Free to player don't like it. It's like the whales are upset because they think the cadence is too quick, and then free to play don't like because like everything's going into hard nodes, right? There's like every character's marquee, and unless you go all in, then you can get it free to play, but then it's on a hard node, and it's like all the characters are going to hard nodes pretty much. So I don't know if you've been hearing that as well, or what some of your feedback is.
Yeah, it's just I think I did the math. It's like 15 characters and ships in the last 2 months.
Yeah,
that's too many. I mean, three maybe. Like one every 10 days, maybe worst case scenario. But when you're as a content creator and as a player and as a whale, it's absolutely devastating to me. I've literally 2 months ago had 165 million credits, and I've ran out completely of credits twice now in the last 2 weeks. It's like just impossible to keep up, and it's like all they've created the game for is for them to try to make us spend money. That's how it feels as a player. And I know you can spend money or not, but they know what we want. And I will say I've been asking for those ship Omegas to come back and the regular Omegas, and I mean, at least the regular Omega pack came back because we've got 9,500 new characters that we have to put Omegas on, and of course there's no way in hell you can have them. I mean, I literally, without these packs, wouldn't have been able to put Omegas on Bastila or on like a few other characters that I've been working on for a few weeks. So the packs are great, but still they're expensive packs, so they're kind of a whale problem.
Well, yeah, I mean that's the other thing. People, you get packs to get the character 7 stars, but then you need a buttload of credits. You need Omegas. It's like you need all the materials, and that's not even talking about gearing them, because then you have to gear the character too. So unless you can be exceptionally patient, the only way to keep up is like you're going to spend money somewhere. Unless you're completely free to play and it doesn't bother you, So, but like to be in competitive guild, it's getting crazy. I mean, King Felix, what do you think?
Well, I do think there are too many characters currently being released. I have never liked the marquee events, especially because when they first came out, they were supposed to be special. They were, we got Krennic and Death Trooper, I think was the first one. And I thought it was going to be like more of a special release for certain characters that are going to be important enough for somebody to spend way too much money on a mobile game character. But it seems like that's the new norm now, which is unfortunate. I also hate ships. I lose half my battles, and before Ships 2.0, I don't think I lost a battle in like 3 months straight with a 5-man fleet. Mm-hmm. Definitely just saved up the reinforcement abilities for about a month so I could do Phantoms. And but the whole time I was just doing my battles, I do like 2 on auto and just call it good to maintain in the top couple hundred. about that. On the bug front, I also noticed a bug. I haven't put a ticket in for it yet, but I had Nihilus's health down sticking on Ahsoka Tano Fulcrum, which is not supposed to happen. She wasn't cleansing herself like she was supposed to, and I think it was an interaction with, because she had gotten fractured by Thrawn and then come out of fracture, but she still had health down. So I'm gonna have to put a ticket in for that, and hopefully they understand what's going on. Seems like there's so many characters that they can't get rid of the bugs in time, or they're just choosing not to, unless the bug is an infinite loop in the Heroic Sith raid. That seems to be their priority at this point in time.
Yeah. Mike, are you there yet, buddy?
Yes, I is. Good afternoon. Sorry. Apologies for my tardiness.
That's all right. You're fired.
Formula One was on.
Yeah. Don't even try to lie.
I'm not even going to try and lie. Yes, it was. It was epic.
Well,
I won't give out any spoilers.
Up questions there, Mikey. Of course, they just announced the new changes to the Sith raid with Night Sisters and stuff. What do you think about all that, Mikey?
I think that they're overly protective of the Sith raid. Yeah. I don't understand why. I mean, it's almost as if it's a case of, here's a raid, you'll hate it, we're going to make it worse, and we're going to nerf all the rewards. It's like, I don't get it. Seriously, am I missing something? But that's what it is. And it's like, what? You give us new tunes? Yeah, you do that as well. But you give us these characters, we then experiment with them, find epic combinations, and then you're like, oh, we didn't see that. Well, we should have done. They're yours. I mean, don't you test multiple combinations? I mean, out of the 146 characters or whatever we've got in game, how many of those are actually used?
Right.
More importantly, how many of those are used in Sith Raid? So, come on. I mean, it doesn't. Surely that's where you start. Once you've built it, then you start testing it. And we're coming up to 3 years in game now. I mean, it's just. It's not positive, is it?
Anybody else?
I think I'm going to end up being a CG apologist at some.
Don't even do it, Finn. Don't do it, Finn.
Well, let's be honest, right? There are a ridiculous number of characters in the game, so I think that's one of the base problems, and they're just adding more and more, right? But the number of combinations of teams that you can get with all of these characters is ridiculous. And I know that these are a little bit more of the common characters that made the Critolite team, which is the Asajj, Zombie, then the Traya, R2, and Hermit Yoda. So there's some of the more common ones. But part of the way every game has worked, and this isn't just specific to Galaxy of Heroes, but in every game, players are always trying to figure out ways to kind of break the game, find the ways to kind of get that advantage, find the way to kind of use the abilities to the best of their ability, and trying to take advantage of the system, right? But it's not always the intent for them to get this kind of crazy loop going. And so I didn't mind them nerfing the raid. I think the 20 stacks made it so it hurt people that weren't using the loop mechanic with Acolyte, because people are able to get up to about 40 and still be able to do their regular attacks, and I think 20 is way too low. So I think that was the bigger problem more than anything. I don't have an issue with them trying to stop the loop with the Critolite team. But the other part also is they tacked on that zombie part. And I think that's what started to cause a lot of the confusion, because Zombie isn't even part of that team. And then Zombie in Phase 4, I know that you can do a lot of damage. I think the highest I saw was like 60% of Nihilus or something like that, where you can just do with straight Night Sisters with a weak Zombie. The problem is there's a lot of us, and I've said it too, that thought that the whole concept of a weak Zombie, and I think Felix has said this multiple times on Jedi Academy too, is that the weak zombie is just kind of silly. That keeping a character weaker in a whole game that's based on progression of gear and levels is kind of counterintuitive and shouldn't be actually the way that the game is actually asking you to play a character. And the problem is, though, they waited so long to do this, and then they tacked it onto this post where they're changing part of the raid. I think that's what's causing a bigger issue, is that they're trying to combine too many things at once. I don't think there was an issue with them trying to fix the Sith raid. I think the problem was that they tried to do a fix too quickly. They met 20 is too low, so it doesn't seem like they really looked at what the actual number should be. It should have been at least 40. I think 40 is a fair number for that. They also apparently didn't test it, because now there's bugs where after it gets to that 20 stack, you can't heal at all. It's not even healing up to the 90%, just heals are failing straight up. And then they're gone for the weekend. So it's literally like, okay, you guys found something, we're going to try and fix it. Here's a bunch of crap in order to try and fix it so that doesn't happen, and we'll fix our crap later in the beginning of next week. So I think they're handling this wrong. I don't think changing the mechanic is a problem, but I think the way they handle this is the problem.
And also, their nerfing history isn't great, is it? And in regards to the fallout from that, and the fact that it encroaches in other areas and aspects of the game, and it's like, come on. Sorry, Warrior, I jumped in there, but
no,
yeah,
it's okay. I agree with it. I mean, I'm not opposed to them fixing the raid. That's fine. Whatever. I get it. They don't want infinite loops. I'm okay with that. And for somebody who doesn't have a 7-star, I don't want the 5 people who have a 7-star to go do infinite loops, because then that prevents me from getting my damn 7-star that I'm trying to get, because it puts them at the top. So I'm okay with them fixing it. But what I don't like is, the zombie. If the paper zombie was an issue, and it was, I think, to a lot of people, then they should have fixed it, or they should have at least addressed it early on. Waiting till now, but this is the deal. They realize, okay, we've got a shitstorm, we're going to fix it, so what we're going to do is we're just going to throw every issue that we've wanted to address, but we decided not to address, into one, kit and caboodle, and then try and do it at one time. And that's the issue, is them trying to do too much at once, which Infinity's was on point with that. And then, yes, they are very much known for doing a hot fix that isn't going to fix something, and then leaving for the weekend and not having access to them and a fix. And so they leave the game more broken than it was before. And that's not good for the health of the player base and the health of the game. So it's frustrating. I just wish that they kind of took a step back. But for anybody who, geared up spent gear on their zombie, we were all hoping that we could dial ours back, and now they're going to have to fix it. But who knows how the heck they're going to fix that? The only way they're going to be able to fix it is to change the kit, and they're going to have to change the kit of the zombie and of the acolyte, and that means they're doing a Night Sister rework again. I don't know.
I think what's most frustrating is the fact that they've got kind of like a big red flag waving at the moment, because they've just done this with mods. Did no one think, wait, have we actually tested this?
With the pricing and slicing and everything?
No, with what was it? There was a very small number of people.
It was the larger
percentage. Yeah. I think when you see plus 35 secondaries, and it's like, oh, hold on, we might have done something wrong there, and now we're winding it back. But don't worry, we're going to fix Zombie, and we're going to fix the Acolyte loop. Concerned? I think they should stop drinking on a Friday morning before they start work.
Well, can't focus on that.
Apologies to them. Yeah, they don't drink before then.
I know they work hard. I know they work as hard as any other group of people out there to make a product, and they're as big of fans as we are. And I mean, there's humanity there, right? So I mean, you meet them, and they're good people, and they work hard, and they care about the game as much or more than everyone. But some of the decisions that are made, sometimes they're with them, and sometimes they're with the EA, and it all muddles together. So we don't know. But most of the time, if it has to do with purchasing, it's more than likely the EA side of it is making those executive decisions on pack price and things like that. So we can get probably more frustrated with EA on that. But then when it comes to this engineering and game design, the game, it does get tested. They have beta, they have testers, things like that. But not everything is tested. And like that rollback, the roll forward to like fix their mods, I don't know. Nobody beta tested that as far as us goes in the community. That was just them throwing out a hot fix and then it going bad, and then them rolling it back to a week prior's server snapshot, and then fixing it, and then just giving those people credits and saying sorry. Because if you rolled mods and the new mods rolled speed, they reset everything, and you would have lost all that secondary speed. And then when it rolls your mods again, there's a good chance speed won't roll the second time because it's randomized. So it did screw those people out of the mods that they did upgrade. Even if they get the credits back, they lost the RNG of possible good mod rolls. And just for the record, there was a ton of events with a ton of mods, and there was actually a couple of good mods out of those events for me, and I know that would be the case for them, and I'm sure they would have leveled them up, and now they have to re-level them up, and who knows if the RNG will be the same or not.
Yeah. It is what it is. All right, let's get into some questions. We'll start with El Warrior, a birthday boy. Start off with an easy one there for you. Brygon Ruby. Question, it's softball to start. What Clone Wars content do you want to see come into the game with the revival?
I would love to see a dark side Yoda.
The one from the episode where he's Shadow Yoda.
Yes, yes.
Evil I have become. That's a good one. Anything else?
There's some droids that I'd like to see in the game.
Sure.
The B1 would be all right, but the Droideka and some of the others, there's some additions that would be nice. And I don't remember the Jedi's name, but he had turned bad, and he was on the planet Umbara, and he has 4 arms. Can you remember his name? And he has 4 lightsabers.
I know you're talking about. I can't think of his name because it's too early in the morning for me to be thinking.
I'm drawing a blank, but they have an entire war, and they're like fighting, and that's where Fives ends up stealing that Umbaran starfighter and things like that. That sequence, that guy, that Jedi that turns on the Jedi, he would be fun to have in the game. I think would be just a kind of a cool little character to have as a Jedi, but dark side Jedi. That would be fun.
Anybody else? All right, nobody's excited about that.
They're saying Krell in chat.
Krell, that's right.
That's it. Dang it. Thank you so much for all the viewers that have their heads on this morning.
Right. Oh, little lady. Okay, let's see here. Next question. We will go to King Felix with the baby. Ray Side Piece question. Night Sister nerf? Thoughts? And happy birthday, Warrior, and the big deal. King Felix? Felix, that is King.
He might be dealing with baby.
He might be dealing with the baby. Mike, what do you think?
Not happy. It's I love I still enjoy running Night Sisters where and when I can. Is this again about the paper zombie? What?
Yeah.
I'm still catching up on. I caught up on a few bits earlier.
Yeah, I think there's just the Night Sister nerf. That's the deal with the paper zombie stuff.
Just the word frustrating springs to mind purely because the Night Sisters had to undergo a massive boosting to actually get them usable, and they've become an integral part. I mean, there's not that many of them. You have to work to get them. You have to spend all the gear to gear them to, other than the zombie. Mm-hmm. We covered earlier. I'm in agreement that it does seem strange that the less you invest into a character, the better the overall squad does. That yeah, that just doesn't make sense there. So it's just nerfing them to resolve it. I don't know. Smacks to me of switch it off and back on again. It's like no, actually work on your product rather than just go for the easy fix that invariably, as I went on before, ends up impacting way more than it should do and upsetting the community. And it's like this could potentially have been avoided.
Yeah. All right, let's go to the next question. This is from F-Trix. Question: have CG ever rolled back a fixed nerf? Is there any hope, Ranger? Well, there's always hope. I mean, rebellions were built on hope. But no, I can never think about a nerf that they put in and then rolled back. So, in their eyes, they have decided that this is the way to go.
They should roll back echoes and actually make clones viable. I mean, that'd be a quick fix.
There you go. But no,
there's one.
Is there one? I can't remember. Nothing on top again.
Remember Sith Raid rewards?
I was just thinking characters, but I guess
because I mean that was a fix, right? They were trying to fix the way that Sith Raid rewards worked for all the different levels, and then they had kept that gap for all the Gear 12 Plus pieces, but didn't include them. So, like Heroic Sith was getting awful rewards. So then they reversed that.
My eyes still is, but I'm serious.
But they reversed that back to where it was.
I mean, we all do Heroic Sith here. The rewards have just been garbage. It really has been.
Not able to get into the top 10, so no, I don't get raid rewards at all. I get all these people are like, where do I put this Gear 12 Plus piece? Should I put it on Brother Towson or should I put it on this person? And it's like, it would be cool if I could craft one, so it'd be awesome. But I actually literally just crafted my very, very first Gear 12 Plus piece, and it's like, it's overwhelming because you've got 151 characters screaming, me!
Yeah, I know, right?
So you only need 300 of them, and it only takes 2 months to craft one. So, in 42 years, I'll be able to have all my Gear 12 Plus pieces put on my characters.
We'll all be in the retirement home like, hey, boy, remember that time we got your first Gear 12 Plus piece? You'll be like, eh?
I don't know how I managed to get one. And I slaps it straight on Nest.
Yeah. It's like, God.
Yeah, I pulled the trigger too quick there, I think.
Yeah. You're just so happy to have one, you don't even know what to do. You're like, oh. Let's see. Kingfields, are you back yet? Still dealing with the baby. All right.
I'm back.
All right.
I'm back.
All right. So, question to you from Chopper BZ. Question: Sith assassin ship answer to Biggs and ship battles. Best lineup with that ship.
At the bottom of your roster, not wasting any of your materials unless you already bought it all the way. I haven't played with it yet. I know what it goes straight through protection on its special, right? Is that what they're referring to with the anti-bigs?
Yeah, it's
the healing immunity that it inflicts on basic.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I don't know. I think it's a really expensive piece if you're just using it to kill bigs. Unless ships is like your favorite part of the game, I really don't think you should invest all that much into one ship. And if you only invested halfway in the pack, it's still really not going to be that great at the top tier of ship arena anyway. So, I don't know. Warrior, what would you think about putting it in the starting 3?
Well, I have a video that showcases it, and it does really well, and that's with Darth Vader and this new Sith fighter together with bigs of their own. And provided your opponent doesn't have this ship, your bigs continues to do what it does, and this Sith ship you can focus fire every ship down just easily, because on the basic it puts healing immunity, and then Darth Vader goes in and just obliterates and puts target lock, and your Biggs continues to regain its protection and stuff. But if somebody else has it and you have it, then it's kind of a moot point. And the AI targets it first every time. Every battle I've ever done, it's the first ship hit. And on some battles, like they're going against Geos, they target it with a triple mollywop hit, a call to assist, and it's gone before you can even use it. So it's not, in my opinion, it's not really a ship worth going in on. Like I said, the only reason why I have one is because I needed Omegas so bad for my Geonosian ships to finish my Geos off. I needed 60 of them. I didn't see the light at the end of the tunnel, so I was terrible and ended up getting 60 Omegas by buying the packs until I had 60 Omegas from the packs. And my side effect was I got a 7-star ship. But I'm not using it. I don't have it maxed out. In fact, the 60 Omegas I got could have maxed the Sith Fighter out, and I did not put it on that. I put it on the Geos. And the other thing is this ship is a solution to a problem that isn't a problem anymore on my leaderboard. If you go through the top 20 on my leaderboard, everybody's using everybody is using the Geos now. Everyone. It's ridiculous. Everyone's either got the Geos under Thrawn, the Geos under Akbar, the Geos under Executrix, but that's it. Like, they're all using the Geos. And this ship isn't as effective with the Geos because just because you get healing immunity on one ship, it goes stealth. So now you got to hit healing immunity on another ship. And they're so slow, and they're able to target down so fast that you can't effectively target down who you were trying to with all the stealth mechanism involved. So, yeah, I don't know. It's a day late, dollar short for the Biggs issue. I think the only problem it solves is for everybody who's out of the top 50 who's still seeing Biggs everywhere. And for those people who are seeing Biggs everywhere,
there's other ways to beat it that don't cost a fortune.
Yeah, nobody's gonna need this ship until it's free to play. There'll be a few people use it, but like I said, by then I think a lot of people have moved.
All right, let's go to the next question from Bad Horsey 1. Back to the top of the order question. What are the best reinforcements to use with Home 1 Geos? Reinforcement abilities. Already have Phantom Max. Ghost is at 2 out of 3. Poe at 2 out of 3. Thinking about throwing Cassian in. What are your thoughts?
Absolutely. So, personal opinion is if you're using Akbar, you want as many rebels as possible. So, Phantom 2 is the reinforcement I would suggest. So you can flood. The second would be Cassian, because he calls an assist and clears all the buffs, and by this time you got a bunch of buffs coming from the opposing team. And the call to assist is very powerful, and it guarantees a crit on both parties if you're choosing another rebel target, which is likely with your lineup. And then Poe as a fourth person, kind of as the end, to kind of come in and smash faces in. And then for fourth, you can have a number of people. You can have Ghost come in, which is okay. And actually the AoE does pretty decent damage under rebel composition. Or you do Plo Koon. I really like Plo Koon because he cleanses everybody and puts everybody back to full health and protection, basically. If they've been damaged a little bit, it can come and kind of restore all of that. So he's kind of he's better than a tank because he can clean everybody up, he can restore health and protection on everybody, and he can taunt as well, giving himself bonus protection up. So he's kind of the best of every world if used right. So that's probably what I would suggest.
All right. Look, everybody, it's the Canadian maple syrup eater herself, the one and only T Money G.
Good morning.
Welcome back to the clean world.
I know, right? It's like we're back to the beginning again. I slept in, and here I am. How are you guys doing?
Well, you tell us, Miss make it to the border of Mexico.
Mexico was fantastic. It was great. It was a wonderful experience. My kid worked, right? Went to the beach and just like dug holes for 2 weeks. I felt bad. It's like, yeah, but we did good. Yeah, it was good.
I'm sure you brought, they introduced you to marijuana and you introduced them to maple syrup. It was a cultural exchange.
No, I have a strict foreign policy to not do drugs in other countries.
Really? Okay.
And my own. So.
Well, what did you do? Did you do the Tits McVenom vacation where you just sat on the beach and had sexy waiters bring you margaritas and chill?
Yes, sir.
Let's see. Well, that's science. All right. Are you prepared to answer a question, T Money?
Yes, of course.
Have you had your maple syrup and your coffee and everything?
No, neither of those things.
Oh,
I have
God.
run directly from my bed to this seat after looking at the
Oh,
time.
Lord. So everybody, if T Money answer a question, we don't know what's going to happen. Oh boy.
Can I hop in on that Geo question though? Because I am just.
Yeah. No, we don't want your opinion. You'll answer what I tell you, you young lady.
No, I won't, because you know who I am.
I know.
The Geos are they're so great, and I don't know, they're almost worth farming now. I'm almost to the point where I'm saying that they're worth farming. They're not too bad to gear, but my reinforcement is Poe. that's the only, unless things go completely south in 29 of the 30 battles, Poe's the only reinforcement that I need. It's just like 30-second, 40-second battles. They're very cool. They're very cool ships. Yeah, I'm glad I reinvested in them.
Yeah, I'm thinking of doing it myself. I mean, I've got them 7 stars in gear 8 and 9, but I'm like, should I take them a little higher? Do the ships? I mean, I've invested some already in ships with them, but we'll see. We do have a question. No, go ahead, Finn.
One thing before we get to questions, since we're on a little bit of a break here, I do wanted to tell you all a post. So on our comments of the videos, we're always like responding to them. This is all, I think all of us do whenever we get comments on our videos and stuff. So I wanted to share one with you guys in case if you guys didn't see it on one of the.
Does it say you're an ass clown?
No.
Oh well, then who cares?
So it's it's from Born Invincible FPV. And he said, Warrior roster reviews, the RSG roster reviews, and Jedi Academy has been my best source for kicking ass in this game. So I wanted to just share that with you guys because it was one of the nicer comments.
If we get anything about how Ranger's amazing and great, then let's just throw those in there as well.
Okay, I'll try and find
check
some
your PMs.
Yeah. Or about our Lord and Savior Revan. If we can throw those in there, that'd be great too. So all hail His greatness and wholesome goodness. All right, let's get to a question. Well, thank you for those kind words. That's very, very kind of you. Gus989 question. This is for T Money. Throwing it to her. What is the best CLS lead defensive team for Arena in the current meta? Have fun with this one, T Money.
In the current meta?
Yeah.
Oh, honey. I mean, certainly CLS, I think, gives Bastila a harder time than a lot of teams. If you can get it's really how you mod CLS. They can be very, very surprising if you mod them well, which means, great critical damage sets with speed. So they can be a force to be reckoned with. I have lost to CLS teams, if I'm not paying attention. I've gone in with, an EP lead and Treya and pressed auto and come back and been like, where is everybody, So it's, if they're modded really well with high damage, they can still do well. You can still climb with them. Once Treya comes into the mix, I think that you're going to need to learn how to use Danger Zone. And that is not a team that's going to hold on defense. You're going to have to figure something else out to leave in there, maybe Ray or something. But CLS will fall. It will be a target, certainly in this current meta. But you can climb with it. Absolutely. There's somebody in my shard. My shard's October 2016. About 2 years in the game, and he will climb with it and get to top 5 with the CLS team. CLS, what's your in CLS? Old Ben. It's an undergeared Old Ben, which is a pain in the butt because you're like, I don't want to hit him and give everybody the buff bonuses. It's a Zated Old Ben as well, and then Han. Oh gosh, R2 and who's the 5th? Thrawn. So You can climb with them still, and you can switch it around and be able to take out Treya. It's you have to learn how to do that. It's not a Danger Zone is not a team you can just go in there with and automatically get it done. Danger Zone.
Lana.
What?
Danger Zone.
This zone will be one of danger.
Data Descent has a question. I'll answer this real quick. She says, have they nerfed Paper Zombie already? I thought they said not yet. No, they have not nerfed it as of yet. Not that I'm aware of, unless they just did a client restart or something.
Even further, they posted that they have leads on how they want to, so they haven't even decided how they plan on changing Zombie yet. Just that they are going to, so it was kind of just a heads-up post. But they haven't even decided what they're doing.
That's sad. That's one of the coolest parts of our game.
Nope.
Yeah, I'm with Felix on this. Having intentionally not gearing up a character is like one of the silliest things in the game.
Well, they created
It's one character, though. It's one character.
No, they're going to rework that character to make it to where you can't use it as a paper zombie. So they've got to build in some sort of like punishment for not gearing it, kind of thing. And then people are going to gear it, but then they're going to find on the other side, once it's geared up, how amazing it is in a different aspect or a different team. And there's going to be some like broken team with it once it's fully geared, and people. Crap, we got to rework it again. I mean, they better take their time. They got to take their time.
Silver Fox put out a brilliant resolution for it. Just set a minimum gear level 10 for Zombie to participate in Heroic Sith. That doesn't require a rework whatsoever.
But they didn't want it anywhere. They didn't want the paper zombie concept anywhere. But I think it's primarily because the gear is low. I was thinking about this yesterday as a potential solution, and it's probably difficult to implement. But it's if you actually, as you level up zombie, the health pool goes down, and to the point where like the protection is gone, and you give the character a toggle at like gear 11 or something, where you can actually switch it between a weak or strong zombie based on what you want. So you can add health and protection before and after.
How dare you make sense, Finn? Get the hell out of here.
We talked about that like 1 or 2 Jedi Academies ago, and we talked about making it like Luke's or CLS's call to action.
Well, I was thinking before the actual battle rather than like in the battle, so that you could always start it out. Because I like my strong zombie against Imperial troopers. It becomes hard for them to take out the zombies, so you don't get kind of that snow trooper kill spree. Yeah. But like, I want the ability to kind of switch between the two. So it'd be cool even before the battle, you could decide, do you want your weak or strong zombie in there, and you can kind of toggle the protection aspect of the character as part of it.
I don't think we'll ever see a toggle button, and I think swapping the health and protection and making it really strong at lower gears and then get weaker as it goes up is a terrible idea for new players, because a new player would get a Gear 4 zombie and it'd have like 100,000 health and protection, and it would be meta, and everybody would hate it, because it'd be like that would be the first free-to-play team you'd go with. You'd start farming that level.
Just zombie at Gear 1 and Ventress.
Oh my god. Alright, next question back to the top to Warrior from Listmeister. He says, hello all. Curious as if anyone has tried Ahsoka ship post 2.0. She can bust buffs, so I thought she may be interesting versus Biggs. Thoughts? What do you think, Warrior?
Yeah, I have used her. In fact, I have to use her whenever I'm doing territory wars, because I always have to my meta on defense, and so that leaves me with my leftovers. And sometimes I do 2-ship battles, because I a lot of times can get a 22 on my first, and then I with my leftovers try and go in and clean up a second team or help take down a second team or something. But so Ahsoka's good. She's got a double dispel. You know, she can come in and dispel, plus she can dispel again. So getting rid of a bunch of dispels is cool. And she's an attacker and can do decent damage, but she's kind of a one-trick pony. She dispels and she hits for an average amount. I don't think there's a whole lot more to her kit that is worthwhile. And while the dispel's good, Cassian doesn't matter.
It's really designed for being a Galactic Republic fleet. That's where she really shines, right?
And that's because you can't get to her, because there's so many taunts, crit hit immunities, and things like that, that if you're running a defensive mace ship and and then a bunch of the Galactic Republic. Yeah, she's gonna sit there and be like that gnat.
Crap out of
Won't
people.
go away.
Yeah. She's annoying, and that's why I'd run her on territory war defense. Because the starting lineup I use is Rex, Ahsoka, Biggs, I mean, but it's a standard Galactic Republic fleet. The people that use it, so it's nothing spectacular.
And really quick on the previous question on CLS lead, I have 2 of them in my top 10 that actually get to #1 slot, and they beat everything, and they're super annoying to beat. And that's CLS, R2D2, Han Solo, Old Ben, just like she said, but Thrawn or Ahsoka Tano Fulcrum.
I could see that. Absolutely.
Yeah, she's horrible. She's horrible in territory wars too. ATF.
Yeah.
Like if you go in and you underestimate a team and she's just giving protection up to everyone and you don't have the damage to deal with her. It's awful. It's a good tune.
She's very, very especially when you get her to higher levels. Oh my gosh, she hits.
I don't like her big move. Her big move never does it for me, but that protection up is...
Well, a team I was digging around the other day with was JTR with BB-8, Bastila, Kenobi, and Ahsoka. And Ahsoka was just one-shotting things all over the place because you get somebody buffs, it's like, and you're dead, and you're dead, and now you're dead too. So this is like, oh my god. There's ways to use her where she really hits like a freaking truck. It's ridiculous.
She's great with the Bastila Jedi.
Oh yes she is. All those buffs on her flowing around. Oh my god, she's ridiculous. All right, next question. We will go to King Felix question. This is from What Else 73 question. Expecting to see many Darkside characters from the KOTOR time frame? Question mark. We need them.
So
we're starting to get over heavily with light side. They've introduced a ton of them lately. Need some more evil people. Damn it.
They've been. I've noticed this pattern. They'll release like 2 or 3 dark side amazing characters, and then about 10 light side to beat the 2. But I was thinking about this like last week. It makes sense with the Star Wars because if you think about it, it was usually one Sith against several Jedi, right?
Sure.
So if they're doing it that way, although I would like them to say that because I think it's unintentional. But as for KOTOR dark side characters, I think everyone would like to see Malik. We'll see what version of Revan or how they do Revan. You can also get Malgus. There's Angrel. If they ever keep going down into the Legends or the EU, whatever they call it now, you could get a Darth Bane. You can go all the way up and down. You can get Plagueis, Tenebris. It's over and over. They just have to commit to actually putting those characters in there. Yeah. What I do like what they've done with the Old Republic dark side characters is, other than Sith Marauder, they've all been really good.
Yeah.
I mean, even Sith Assassin and Trooper are extremely good characters. Mm-hmm. So much so that you can almost do like 3 Sith teams now and have like 3 different Sith walls and territory wars. But I'm really interested in seeing Malik. I would also like to see some more Mandalorians if they could do that. From you get like Mandalore the Ultimate would be interesting. Oh
yeah, there's a whole bunch of evil dudes that they get introduced in this game.
Yeah, they just have to really put the effort in doing those, because a lot of the people who play this game probably haven't. Well, I would say it's probably about half that have played the old KOTOR games. Mm-hmm. So you might not get as much. It's going to be a lot of it's going to be up to the game changers showcasing these characters and maybe doing a little bit of a backstory on why. I know Warrior does that in his videos. This character, he's from here, he was this. Kind of give me a little bit of an explanation so people are just like, who's this guy with a crazy mask? What does he do?
All right. The next question to Mike. This is from Kilosiraptor. Question. Excuse me. I heard you talk about the disparity in rewards between heroic Sith and non-heroic Sith. But what about the disparity between top 10 in heroic Sith and 11 through 50 in heroic Sith? That's a real thing.
it. How do I word this?
Just speak your mind. Mike is frustrated today, man. He's really...
I get it. I mean, the top 10s are basically it's making the guild compete for those places, for those additional rewards. I get it. But of course, I suppose the only real resolution would be, in the current state, is to stagger it, and I mean, it's going to have to require a guild workaround, right? And you go in waves of 6, so that you've got your 5 groups of 10 that go in and get the top rewards for that raid. It's going to be tedious, but at least then, if you're not down with how they've changed the rewards, then that's a potential solution there. It's kind of working it like an arena shard, but within guild. It is what it is, isn't it? It's just I've got to be honest, I only get excited for phase 2 of the Sith raid, and the rest of it's meh. Give me the rewards. Not even the rewards. Give me the shards.
It's like, do I really want to invest the time? Warriors is saying that he doesn't have the time to invest in all these raids and stuff. He's got to get us in when he can. So it's not like, but the disparity, there's a huge discrepancy between top 10 and the rest. Because I'm just looking at some of the rewards, and it's like, well, if I can't get top 10, why do I, 2 of my battles get some points? That's like, I'm not investing my time into this.
Maybe that's the problem, that the raid is kind of apathy inducing, and at the same time, things that would actually peak and raise participation have been identified as, going against the principles of the game, and therefore are going to be removed. It's like ray of, there's a ray of light. There's hope. No, there's not.
Until you find out it's gamma radiation.
Yeah, it's that's the challenge, I would say, for the developers, is to find a way that players can legitimately, without being perceived to be, manipulating the game mechanics to enhance, get enhanced scores, make the Sith raid interesting, because graphically it's stunning. It just, I don't know, what's it missing? It's missing something that's creating this.
Well, I think if we look back to the past 2 raids, the only time you got real excitement for them was when they first came out and you got, Han Solo and General Kenobi. And then the next time they got fun is when you could start soloing phases or the whole thing. Like, if you're just constantly beating your head into a brick wall, you're just going to take your 5 or 6 Treya shards and call it good. I only do raids on auto. If I can't auto it, I'm just going to auto it and take my score regardless, because my guild can clear it no problem, and we have people that the raids is their favorite part of the game. And it's not mine necessarily, but I do like to see teams on auto do crazy stuff, which is why I recently got my Wampa to 7 stars, so I was letting him do awesome things in the tank raid, and I haven't done the tank raid in probably 6 months. So if you want to get more excitement into the raid, you have to make a team that isn't an infinite loop, but is still really fun and can do a lot of damage.
Yeah.
Make the Ewoks great in the Sith raid. I don't care, but make something. Make something.
But it's up to us to make that, right? There's so many combinations of tunes and mods. It's like nearly infinite. When you take in whatever we have, 130 characters times 6 mod slots times and so we're going to come up with these teams, and they have been really clear that loops are not allowed, right? And so fair enough. You know, someone came up and broke the raid, and congratulations. I'm always so proud of the community when we do that. That's fantastic. I don't believe that the Night Sisters as they are now are a loop in any way. I don't agree with Paper Zombie being nerfed. I don't think that this game should be about trying to limit the creativity of the players. And so having rules like thou shalt not loop. Oh, sorry. That's my alarm that was supposed to go off an hour ago. Going off now.
Well, two things we just found out. One, she said it for the time the thing was supposed to start.
It's still in Mexico time, man.
She said it directly for this question. She knew it.
I did. But, you know, like having that hard and fast rule, thou shalt not have loops. Awesome, you know? But then stay out of the game. You know, like don't go, okay, well, we're going to we're going to take Paper Zombie and make her different because we don't want. No, like there's Old Ben, there's Paper Zombie, there's Pow, there's lots of characters where it's like, oh, look, you can use this character at a really low gear level. Or, what's his name? Plo Koon. You know, you can use him at a super low gear level and with some strong tunes because his lead will unstealth people. So you can use him against Maul and TW. That's one of my favorite things about the game. Stay out of that. Stay out of my low gear tunes thing. Mm-hmm. If they take that across the board and limit low gear in the raid in general or in TW or in arena in general, I've never said this before, I will be out. Like, that is just not in the spirit of this game for me. The spirit is about creativity, incredibly intelligent people, smarter people than me, making and breaking the meta with out-of-the-box stuff. And so, you know, no Paper Zombie. No Paper Zombie. Or, I mean, yes, Paper Zombie.
And no maple syrup.
You had it right the first time.
Yeah.
Don't set a precedent that if they say you have to have a certain gear level, it ruins it for anybody who's done that with, you know, for example, like you said, Old Ben. I didn't even think about that, but if they do it for one, where are they going to stop, kind of thing?
Right.
Only if they find it to be a problem for them.
Mm-hmm. And it's I don't think the Night Sisters team is a huge problem right now. Like, I think that
no
enough
skills it's not getting soloed.
It's not getting soloed. Maybe they see where it can be soloed, so figure that out quick.
So. I mean, people with the best possible thing are not doing it, so it's not like
the only solo, to my knowledge. Oh no, there has been one big boy player who soloed, but the only solo before that, to my knowledge, was Skeltrix, and he did it on his test account with God mods. So
right.
You know.
And you know, we all have God mods, so I mean, there's that going.
Yeah.
So
I think that was part of the problem that like Warrior and I were discussing at the beginning, right? Which is I think the Paper Zombie isn't necessarily regarding the solo part. The solo part was more the Critolite team. I think the addition of the Paper Zombie has just confused a lot of what they're trying to do here. And it's almost like they were looking at Paper Zombie anyways, which is fine. I know Team Money disagrees, but I mean, I have no issue with them trying to change the Paper Zombie concept and making it so you have to gear them up. And they've done similar things with, what was it, the Brotini or the Nutini team with Newt and the two Jawas and stuff. So
they did that overnight, though, Finn. They didn't.
They did this overnight too.
How long have we had? How long?
Oh, you mean the actual? Yeah. And that's the problem. So I don't think the zombie nerf has anything to do with the raid. They're using it in the context of Night Sisters, since the Asajj and Night Sister Acolyte is the combo that's being used to solo phase 3 and 4. And I think they're using that as basically an impetus to say, okay, we've been looking at zombie, and you know what, let's just throw that in there now. And I think it's just confused a lot of the community about what is going on, what is the soloing problem. And it's not necessarily that the zombie is the problem. It's just they threw it in here with like a big I think Warrior said it best. Like basically they're getting ready to rework the Night Sisters again, which is just silly. I think they put too much.
They will understand how much this community loves the Night Sisters if they try to do that. Like that's like, we've decided that we're going to take the original trilogy and rework that a little bit. How did that go for you guys? Not well. Like, it's just the Night Sisters. I mean, if you want to take the Night Sisters and make them, better and more dynamic and interesting, but I think that they made a team that's quite powerful, and maybe they didn't intend to do that. I don't know. Maybe it's more powerful than their stature within the canon. I'm not sure, but I just that like the whole piece around limiting creativity. I don't think that's what this game is about. I think it's a tangent. I think that like the loop is whenever a loop happens, I'm like hooray, and I expect it to be nerfed very quickly. But that Night Sister team is not a nerf. That's just a really like. I mean, have you tried to get 12 million with that team, or 8 or 7? I got a pretty paper zombie. It takes skill, man. Like it takes the right mods. Like it's not something you just go in there and press auto on. Like
well, that leads us to our next question for you, Team Money G. Question. So if they nerf zombie, does that mean Adventure Lead in P4 won't score nearly as high as they do? And didn't they say that they were leaving Night Sisters alone? And that's from World War 128.
I don't think that they're leaving Night Sisters alone. It depends what the nerf is. Like if it's a direct nerf to the tune, like if you cannot bring her in at a low gear level, absolutely. The higher scores are made with a gear 5 or less zombie. A gear 12 zombie. I don't know if you guys have seen the high scores for that. I think I've seen like 4.5, 5 million. Sort of thing. You probably get 6 or 7 if you're finessey about it, but that means you have to let other tunes die, right? Because what zombie's job is to die and revive and stack Ventress's offense. So, but it doesn't matter if zombie does that. Any tune can do that. So you're going to be allowing the other Night Sisters to die and reviving them. The invincible buff on Daka is going to be really important because you can make sure that her revive is ready and let everybody die and then raise them back up again. So there's going to be ways around it, but way more RNG based and it's going to take way more focus and concentration. That team will never be an auto team. It's just if you want to auto it, it's going to get 500,000 maybe. I doubt it would get over a million. It's a team that you have to sit there for 30 minutes and play. So I think those are the questions. So it just depends how they nerf it. If they nerf the game itself to limit something, to limit Ventress's stack or whatnot. But if they limit the gear to bring zombie into the game, absolutely. It will limit the scores. It's not a huge deal because all you need
is totally huge. There's so nothing the Night Sisters.
If they limit it by half, say they nerf her 90%, well then you just need 10 people.
Listen to Money. I know you're from Canada, but we're gonna make Night Sisters great again. It's what we do.
We sure are. If they nerf it by 90%, well you just need 10 people to do it. Right now we're all stacking our damage on top of each other. Any raid, any guild that can conquer this raid has 10 Night Sister teams. Like it's just pointless. It feels like, but Mom, like I know that we did the accolade thing, but don't make us, don't take our bike away too. Like that was on my skateboard. It's just a weird little punishment for something else. Anyway.
All right, next question back to the top to Warrior from Most Def Isley. Question: Fleet ×2 drops this weekends were a nice surprise because they were omitted from the content update forum post. They sure were. Should we read anything into the Fleet 2 times drops? Perhaps a new cap ship coming? Question mark.
No, I don't think a new capital ship's coming. I think that they just know that there's a Omega crunch, and instead of bringing out the packs that everybody's asking for, bringing out double drops so you can spend a lot of crystals on refreshes for those elusive Omegas is probably the solution they decided for. I'm going to get a bunch of Gear 12, because in level 5 normal, the last 3 nodes, all 3 of those are Gear 12 pieces, so that's what I farm for. And you might be lucky and get an Omega or 2, and if you do, you'll get double the Omegas. So, but double 0 is still 0. So, yeah. Hopefully, you get something.
I'm finishing Scion. I got 6 today. I'm going to refresh here in a little bit. Once my energy hits 100 again, I'm like, give me some more Scion. Let me finish this bastard. Because then I get to go farm another hard one.
welcome surprise for sure that they put him in there. That was nice to have another node, and for anyone that cared about ships, that's probably an easier node to farm than the other node in the game.
But there's some days on that node, man, I've had it where it's like I always get at least one shard out of the hard node, right? The normal hard node for Stan. That one I've had days where I've gotten back-to-back days of 0. I'm like, oh, it's like, come on, just one. Uno, Mas, poor favor. Uno, please? Maybe? No? Okay. Next question to King Felix from Saintly Red. RSG crew member, the Solus one. King Felix, Saintly wants to ask this question. What team should people run against Nihilus on top of Night Sister for Phase 4 for guilds that are still working to beat Heroic Sith Raid?
For me, once it gets to Phase 4, I kind of just throw the whole kitchen sink at everything.
That's what it would, yeah.
I mean, so if you think about it, like what we said, I think T-Money said the Night Sisters are capable of doing, like 10 million if you get very lucky and do very well.
Over 9,000?
But if you throw, 5 pretty decent teams in there and you can get 400,000 to 600,000 every time, you're gonna be putting in the same damage as somebody with pretty decently geared Night Sisters. But I mean, you should have used your Jedi Training Ray and your Grandmaster Yoda squads in Phase 1 or 2, depending on how you like to use them. I know some people like to use them in Phase 2 too. But for me, it's absolutely everything you have into Phase 4 to get rid of the triumvirate that's there is what you got to do.
Yeah. All right. Next question to Mike. It's from our friend Chrome Cobra, and he says, question: anyone know if old Ben's buffs get distributed if he dies while isolated?
Ooh. I'm not. I haven't been in a position to test that out.
I've never used old Ben in isolate because I used to check Swix.
Yeah.
I mean, I know he's isolated, but if he dies, I'm assuming you would get the plus, because if it just says he dies, I don't...
I'm going to try that. I've been running Bastilla, and...
Bastilla!
That's the one. Her as well. I've been running my BS Jedis quite a bit. Yeah. In fact, they're now BS BJ Jedis.
English.
Yeah. So... actually, no, I'll try that. I'll switch out BJ for OB.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Next question for T Money. Vex Virus has a question. Says, question: I'm currently running Vader, CLS, OG Han, Tarkin, and Thrawn in Heroic Pit, and I can solo, but not auto. I just got Rex to 7 stars. Would he be better if I switch him out with Vader? And if yes, who should be the lead?
I'm assuming Vader's the lead.
Yeah. On
that one. I don't know if there's a mechanic where Rex lead can solo the pit. Is that a thing, guys? No. So yeah, I think the main leaders for pit solos are guys like Admiral Akbar, Vader. I
use JTR, but the team I use
JTR.
You can use Rex, but you need more turn meter reducers.
Right.
You can do it. So my team that I have is intentionally slow. That way I don't actually solo it before I'm supposed to put my solo damage in there and then get myself into a penalty with the guild. You can do Rex, CLS, Thrawn, Tebow, and who's my other one? I think it's Qui-Gon. So it's just basically just full turn meter reduction team. You don't even really need a leader ability, so you can throw Rex in there. It doesn't really matter, but it's all just turn meter reduction. But if you're using a Tarkin or something, you need a Vader, otherwise you're not getting the turn meter reduction.
Does Tarkin AoE in Phase 4 now? Because I used to run him, and one of the squads I used to run, I've got a Vader, not a Zeta, lead with Tarkin, Jin, Thrawn. somebody else, can't remember. Gar, that was it. And what I noticed was that in Phase 4, Tarkin didn't do the AoE, which is quite annoying because it's fantastic for removing the turn meter. But he just doesn't call it in. AI wasn't calling in Tarkin's. Does it now?
I don't know.
I don't know. All my characters are single attackers for that reason. So
I'm not personally that good. Anybody else?
No, last time I autoed it with my Vader lead, and I threw in Tuscan Shaman, Tarkin, Wampa, and Hermit Yoda. Only 3 of them survived, but they kicked its ass, and that was on auto.
Really, once you get Hermit Yoda or BB-8, soloing the pit becomes really GTR. Soloing the pit becomes a lot easier. But you might need more Empire characters. I ran Vader. I was probably one of the definitely the first person on my guild to put a Zeta lead on Vader, and used him to solo the pit for a long, long time. I never really did it without 5 Empire characters. Like that's kind of the key for that. Like you need 5 Empire characters. You need them to be fast. TFP was always on that list for me. You probably have him at 7 stars. Gear him up. He hits and hits and hits and hits. I would probably I would try putting 5 Empire characters in there and bring some decent mods on there so that you do have some speed on people, especially TFP. He's the fastest tune in the game, and so if you're putting speed on him, then he's more likely to do turn meter reduction, because that's really that's based
Another
on.
one you can use is Darth Sidious. He also puts down bots, and he is very fast.
Yes, absolutely. It's all about speed for that team.
I Zeta'd him for the pit raid. He was my second Zeta after Vader.
You poor thing. I did the same thing I was like, I'm building this amazing team for the tank raid that's gonna solo. It has Vader, Tuscan Shaman, Darth Sidious.
Or defense for me. I still use them on TW defense just because it makes the team look scary. You'd be like, wow, this Zeta'd Sidious. Never seen one of those before.
You keep telling yourself that. I don't think anyone's looking at your Zeta Sidious and being like, oh no.
Maul and Savage single-handedly in the Clone Wars.
Oh my.
Amazing.
But that's what I do for your team, is I'd put in all 5 Empire and try again. If you the other lead that I just love for the tank raid that I use to solo on auto is Admiral Akbar lead. And you just kind of have to set that up with, so Han and CLS are 2 awesome guys with that. And then you just kind of have to figure out those last 2 if you don't have Hermit Yoda and BB-8, which are just,
mention me you have.
the enemy will not be able to go if you have those 2 on your team, but you just have to find tunes that don't have an ability that isn't a shooty ability. What are those called? That doesn't do damage.
Pew, 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 pew.
I was just going to say, if you do have BB-8 and Hermit Yoda, combine them, because BB-8 will keep Hermit alive for the airstrikes.
We're talking about the pit, but yes.
Oops. Sorry, I thought you said tank. Sorry, my bad.
Your pit has airstrikes.
Stay on target.
Yeah, the Rancor flies overhead and spits on you.
That's not spit.
That's,
Glad to see you, am I?
You don't mean you have. Phil, you have. Gross you are. Alright, next question to Warrior. He's off that. Such a killer. Fat Tony 99 has a question, Warrior. He says, question, currently taking rank 1 in fleet every day. Working on gearing up a few pilots on my team that are only gear 10. Should I gear them up all the way to 12 or stop at 11? TFP and Biggs are my main 2.
If they're characters you're going to use in territory wars, arenas, then you should finish their development, especially since you're taking other characters to Gear 12. Just because you happen to be getting number 1 now doesn't necessarily mean that could change. So if you're using them in Ship's Arena as a crew member or in territory war teams, you should definitely do in-game development of all those for sure. But for everybody else in your roster, you can leave them underdeveloped, and Gear 10's more than sufficient for like everybody else.
All right. This next question is it's for everybody. So this one's let's just read it out and let you answer. From Darth Skywalker, question: I quit the game this week. Have you ever considered doing so? Finn, I'll let you start because this. Finn,
I did.
He did quit.
I quit for about a week. Because the game, in my opinion, at that time, this was like a year and a half ago.
Yeah.
Or so. And I can't remember what the reasoning was now, to be honest. But at the time, they had made a change that just really pissed me off, and so I had quit the game. But the reason I came back was honestly because of the community. So when I left, being like an officer in the guild, a lot of the people started to leave the guild, and the RSG guild was falling apart. And so I came back in order to kind of just right the ship, and because I didn't want to leave the guildies like stranded like that, and like the guild was falling apart. We were down to like 33 people or something, and this was right around the time AAT was released, and we hadn't started beating Heroics AAT yet. And I guess that caused a lot of issues, and so I came back and helped to right the ship, and I mean, now we're clearing Heroic Sith. So that was my reason why I quit, and then why I came back was for the community, and now I'm apparently not allowed to leave per guild instructions.
Yeah, and I will kill you. I know Grandi quit too, which led to one of my epic rants.
That was a good rant. I liked that one.
I was
one
so
of my
pissed
favorites.
off. Oh, I was so angry. Anybody else quit the game?
I haven't, and I haven't really thought about it other than the fact that I have, and it's not even so much of the money that I've spent, but I've invested so much time into it. And in my opinion, time is more valuable than money. And also, I've met a lot of really good people, i.e., the ones I'm on the stream with right now and the people in the chat. So I'm not staying for CG, and at this point, I'm not even really staying for Star Wars. I'm kind of staying for the people that I play with, as well as all the time I've invested here. I don't want to go to waste.
Yeah.
Am I allowed to rant a little bit in response to that?
No, we never rant on these on our channel, Team Money. What would possess you to think so?
And that's why the community is what keeps us here, and that is why it is a poor decision. I think CG is brilliant. I think it's full of geniuses. I'm sorry, I know that people might not agree with this, but I think it's full of freaking geniuses who are smarter than us. And if we wait long enough, we'll be like, oh, I see. Like that's why they were doing that, whether it's good or bad for our pocketbooks. But these raid rewards being tiered as they are, separating the top 20% of the players from the bottom 80% of the players, it is not a good idea. Competition within the guild there's plenty of it. It happens in territory wars. We drive each other's rosters, trying to like keep those offensive teams, be able to support each other in our guild. We don't need this level of competition within the raids. We need the random drops to come back so that one of my guys who's just too big, and it's hard with me scheduling too, so it's like screwing up my global guild. It's like, oh yeah, well, I can't like remember the days where you're like, hey, I posted 0 in the Rancor and I got a droid collar. Those are good days. Bring those back for the Sith raid. It's it's not a necessary thing for this to happen, and it is hurting the community and it is hurting the game, and it's just not a wise decision in my opinion. It's the community that keeps us here. I used to quit every 6 weeks, but just my guild. I would just be like, and like kind of like,
I can't do it anymore.
I can't do it anymore. And then I just decided I will never do that again. That is just a B move and a wimpy move, and I'm staying.
Yeah,
and
that's a
I just
paper zombie move.
it's a total paper zombie move. I paper
That, and
zombie
we have
now.
black
Yep, we got to get rid of paper zombie now.
So I kind of grew up a little, and I love that about this game too. You know, it challenges you, me anyway. It challenges me personally to kind of look at my actions and be like, okay, because you're dealing in a sounds dumb, but you're dealing in a high stress environment with a bunch of people that you know to varying degrees. So, but yeah, I think that's the other piece, is that the community, the raid piece is concerning to me, and I do hope that this the paper zombie limitations, like limitations on the raid are one thing. Limiting the game by requiring things to be geared to be used in other areas of the game, even the raid, just don't. The creativity is why we stay in this game. And if you go play Marvel for a couple of weeks and mash those buttons and see how fun it is, like it's a totally different thing here. It's there's a lot of leeway for creativity. So that's that. I don't say it very often, but that will piss me off.
I don't think they're going to do any gear limitation to enter, because then you also mess up the rest of phase 4, like the kitchen sink phase where everyone is throwing things at the raid. You would completely wreck that if you start introducing like you have to be gear 10 in order to do the raids and stuff. So they're probably just going to change zombie altogether.
I think that let me go and look, but I think that maybe there's gear recommendations for the Rancor, but I remember that there's not actually a requirement. Yeah. Mm-hmm. There's not a requirement.
No, Warrior.
There's definitely not, because I throw gear 6 characters in phase 4 at Treya when I'm just using everything.
Gear 3, get in there and make something of yourself. 2 damage. Thank you very much. Now, Warrior, I know you're the perfect robot sent from the future to play this game and teach us, but have you ever thought about quitting?
Yeah, a lot. And the only thing that's kept me from walking away, there's 2 things that have kept me from walking away.
That's very kind of you to save me.
Yeah, first and foremost, it's not Ranger. It is the community. It is the community as a whole, because this is I've played a lot of games in my day, and this is, to me, has been the best community. Even with all the trolls, I still love you. It's still a really amazing community. And then the second is, when I started, I didn't know anything, and I was trying to figure the game out, and it was super hard. And I went to YouTube, and there was nothing on YouTube, and I was like, sucks, man. There's like nothing out here for.
Hold on, there's Tiny Grimes. Come on now.
He was like ending his reign when I looked. He was kind of getting done with it. He was frustrated, and he was like ranting a lot, and so it wasn't like really educational. And then there was Team Skunk, but they were more community. I mean, they did offer some kind of cool top 10 lists, but it wasn't a ton of strategy or anything. And then Mobile Gamer was out, but he was just for fun. He was just kind of like, I don't know anything, but I'm having a good time. And it was like, cool, I like watching him because he's fun. So, but there wasn't a lot of education, not like there is now at all. And so I sought this journey of knowledge, and I met an awesome community that met me with knowledge. And then I was like, well, to pay it forward, like the thing I should do is everything I'm learning, I should be putting out there in the community through through YouTube to try to pay the community back, what I've learned. And so I started a YouTube channel a couple years ago and put this information out, and it's been, a really positive experience. Now, I'll be honest, YouTube is more than I probably should be doing. I'm way too busy for YouTube in my life, but it has been a fun outlet. And if I didn't have a YouTube channel, I probably would have hung up the gloves by now, because as much as the community is amazing, the direction that the game's gone and the marquee events and things like that, it just I feel like I could focus on maybe paying my mortgage off and becoming debt free and things like that faster.
I'll just go play Battlefront 2 and D&D with us, Warrior.
Exactly. I don't know. I make poor decisions sometimes, like I did the other day with $200 towards SIP Omegas. That was a terrible thing. And then of course they have the gall to actually give me a hard time about it. It's like, don't do that. You know, are you trying to poke a Kraken bear? You know, like, don't do this.
Hey, if you want to rant, what if you want to rant? You know where to come.
I'm already making.
Don't do it on your channel. Do it on this one.
I'm already making poor decisions I regret, and I'm already looking for a reason to quit. And like I said, if I didn't have my YouTube channel and my amazing Discord community and the guys here on RSG and gals, and it would have been I would have closed the chapter a long time ago. The game's okay. I don't. It's not that I don't enjoy it. It's okay. Arena's a bit stale for me. Ships Arena has been a bit too RNG based. So the game's been okay. I don't have a ton of time for raids, so I don't get any good rewards. So I'm falling behind now in that. And I thought about leaving my guild for another guild so I could get top 10. Because there's a ton of communities out there that would, take me and I'd easily get top 10. But, then it's just being selfish and I would be leaving the community I've been with since the beginning, which is Team Instinct. And all in all, even with all our problems, they've been a good community to me as well. So I don't know. I think about it more than you guys probably realize, but I have a great Patreon. I have a great Discord of people, and they keep me energized and going. And I do YouTube to try to share the knowledge. But if YouTube ever falls apart, which it could someday, if that ever falls apart, I will probably bow out of the game.
Yeah, I think that you made a great point. I think that one of the things that keeps me motivated, and I said this from the start, is the community. And it's funny because when we first started, there was nothing really out there either, and I just happened to jump on with good old Merlin Dark Mage, and that's where I met Ronnie and Finn, and it's just grown from there, And I think it's always, and I know you take pleasure in this too, Warrior, when you do a roster review and you answer questions, because I'm sure you get this too. When you wake up in the morning, you're like, 500 messages on Discord. Let me check these. Because I get asked all the time, like, you don't see a lot in Discord, like, oh, I do. It's just direct messaging. Trust me. I say quite a lot. I just don't have time for all the as much time as I have in the channels because I'm always getting direct message, which I'm totally fine with. But when you help someone, they're just super appreciative. They're very happy that you help them. I think that's keeping us going, right?
Hell yeah, words of affirmation, guys. Everyone has a different love language, but mine's words of affirmation. And on my YouTube channel, I get my fair share of trolls, but I also get people who are genuine, who have seen a video of mine in the past. Maybe it was a mod video that was way too long, like my 45-minute mod video, but they sat through the grueling video, took notes, and then it changed how they played and how they looked at mods. And then it's like they message me and they say, I hated the game. I wanted to like the game. Through the knowledge you provided, I now enjoy the game. And it's like, it affirms me, and it affirms what I'm doing and why I'm doing it, and it's that greater good, that greater cause. It's not about $30 on a video that I made through AdSense. You know what I mean? Like, that doesn't matter because I make six figures outside of YouTube. I don't need YouTube's revenue. It's that I am wanting to impact an individual's life in that game because I want them to have a quality of life while they're playing that is at the level I believe they can have, and people get frustrated and stressed out, and that's what I want to change and fix. That's what I've been on a mission to do. And like I said, if that whole thing tanked, if I lost that avenue of being able to give back to the community, I'd probably just bow out. There's enough other tools in the community. They don't really need me, but the ability to stuff out and help people and then have them come back and tell me. I put a video out just last week about Saitor, who totally free to play, uses my 4-pillar system, and I got so many comments from people that were like, I've been using your pillar system and it's like changed my life. And it's like, dude, it feeds the soul when you hear that, when people say they hate the game and then they use something that you're suggesting and now they enjoy the game. It's the same if Team Money puts out a amazing raid video that really explains what to do, and then I implement it and I get more in the raids, and then I'm like, damn it, thank you so much. Now I actually enjoy the beginning of Phase 4 of Sith Raid or something. Or I try to jump, you know what I mean? Or I try to jump in Phase 4 and get a little extra because, now it's more enjoyable now. So it's one of those things, the community feeds the community, and if that ever went away, it would probably be, I would go seek a different Star Wars community if that went away. So hopefully that'll never go away. We've got an amazing community. We really do.
Yeah. But my question is, wait a minute. When did Team Money put out a quality raid video?
Oh, you know what? Our Night Sister video almost has 100,000 views. No, it has 90,000 views, but that's almost 100,000 views.
I told you that was going to blow up.
You did. You told me 30. I was like, no.
And now they're going to nerf it, and everyone's going to unsubscribe.
I told her that she would see over 30,000 views within the first couple of weeks, and she did.
Yeah.
Nathaniel Miller, follow-up question to this one. What is the point where one should quit? I.e., because they have a problem, question mark? I think it's just because you don't like it anymore. If you don't get enjoyment from something, yes.
I think that people can definitely have a problem with this game. This game, I've always maintained this. I mean, like I said, CG is full of geniuses. It's also gambling. This game, there's a lot of factors in here that are exactly like spinning a roulette wheel, and people have problems with that. Gaming addiction is absolutely a thing. And if this game is, if you're playing this game and it's hurting your work life, if it's hurting your home life, if there's an imbalance in your life around this game, you need to figure out if that's okay for you. I think it's a really important thing that we don't talk about enough. And you need to be careful because you can easily just pour money into this that you really don't have, right? And I kind of say to myself, I justify some of my spending by, if I went to Michael's, this is such a silly chick thing. It's like if I went to Michael's and I was crafting, I could drop $200 easily. And so this game is my hobby, and that's how I justify it. But I don't have the control that a lot of people do have around this game, and I think you do need to have it. You need to have a budget. You need to kind of be aware. I think a great rule of thumb of this game is, does my spouse know how much I am spending on this game? And if they do and they're okay with it, well, then it's probably okay. If they don't and you're hiding that spending,
that's how you do it.
Just make sure you have that money. Just make sure you have that money, and call a crisis line and talk to them and try and figure out if it's a healthy thing for you.
I would be like, what do you mean we don't have money for drugs this month? What the hell? Where am I going to get my weed from? God damn it, I have to go talk to Chrome Cobra.
Did you sell our heroin
for Google Play cards?
I can't use Google Play cards for weed.
No, there was a situation that I'd like to bring attention to because he was public about it. Warrior may remember. You remember Wise Man Pendle, Warrior?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Posted. Yeah, he posted publicly, so I'd like to bring attention to that because he did go out of his way to kind of tell everybody his situation as kind of that cautionary tale. So Pendle was in Instinct and early on in the game, and then he found himself in massive amounts of debt. Like he was spending way above his means and didn't realize it. Like he was borrowing money from his family and all other kinds of things. And he was like, now is the time for me to walk away because I've gotten to the point where I can't control it. So a good time to quit is if you feel like you're not in control anymore, to the addiction point that T Money was mentioning. Like you have to know what your means are. You have to know what you're capable of. You can play this game as free to play, and you play the game different as a free to play than a pay to play because your targets aren't the same. And too many times, unfortunately, I've seen free to play players trying to play as pay to play players. Then they get frustrated, and then they feel like they have to spend, and this whole game becomes, I have to spend money, otherwise I can't do this, and then they start spending above their means. So you have to keep everything in a context and make sure you are in control if you are playing. If you feel like you're losing control, then it may be time for you to not just step away from this game, but just step away from any of those things that kind of trigger that for you. Because you have to make sure that you're in control whenever you're doing
supposed to be fun
any of your
and enjoyable if you find yourself.
Sometimes I forget you're a medical doctor, Finn. Just remembered that you are.
Don't see Finn. No, he'll give you a Twinkie and say your health is good and then ruin it. So.
Possibly.
what I just want to add one thing to the combo is that, you know, like, how many people do you guys tell in your life to the extent that this game is important to you? You know, how many people in your life know that you're listening to a stream for 2 hours on a Saturday morning about a game about Star Wars that you can only play on your phone? Like, I don't tell a lot of people that. I don't like proudly like, because they don't understand. They're like, what? I'm like, the community is so great. They're like, what?
You need more nerdy friends.
Yeah,
I do need more nerdy friends. But my point. My point here is that it's just there is a certain, there's lots of people who don't tell, you know, cry from the top of the hilltops that they do this, but you might tell people that you're going out for a drink on Friday night. You know, you might tell people like, oh man, I'm smoking pot all the time, or whatever, you know, it is.
So their nerdiness.
I'm just saying that sometimes it's I think with gaming addiction, and when gaming gets you too much, sometimes it's hard to come out and like say something about it because it sounds so silly. You know, I'm addicted to them. That's silly, but you know, but it is a freaking thing. It's a thing. There's Gamblers Anonymous. There's Gaming Anonymous. So don't let it get you.
I tell people all the time, whenever you see my phone sideways, I'm playing Star Wars.
Yeah,
it's like.
Not me. I start to tell people now, but certainly
Money's Gollum. I just figured it out. She's like the precious. She's on the corner in her house, like, you know, squatting like Gollum, like the precious.
Eating a raw fish with maple syrup on it.
Yeah.
My hobby before this was being an enlightenment teacher, so my friends don't necessarily get it.
That's all right. Not everyone's meant to get it. All right, let's go to the next question to Mike. This is from Bad Horsey 1. What determines the order reinforcements are called under AI control? Seems very random.
It does seem very random. I agree. I used to love it when going against someone using Bistan, and he'd stealth, and then the AI would call in Scimitar and stealth everyone bar Bistan, and away you went. I have no idea. I can only assume it's just running so many different things and parameters.
From what I understand, the AI calls in what it thinks that your team needs in the field. So if your tank goes down, it's going to call in whatever tank is next in your lineup. But if you're using Biggs and he's still alive, or Sunfac, if you're using the Geonosians, it'll call in someone else. And it doesn't really matter 1 through 4 anymore, unless if you're using 4 tanks, it's going to call in straight 1 through 4. But if you're using 4 support ships or 4 attackers, it's going to call in 1 through 4, because it prioritizes what it thinks you need, from what I've been told and from what I've seen playing the game. So if Biggs dies, it's going to call in Sunfac, regardless of where he is.
All right. Next question for T-Money. Question from Mateus Calvacante. Question: changing mechanics on the raid is okay, but change how I like to play is BS. Do you think the devs lost all their creativity and the only way they can tune the game they came from being sore losers?
I think I've ranted about this plenty. You know, I'm not in support of it. But I am in support. The loop thing is very clear. It's very clear. Loops are not allowed. It's a loop. I was worried when we put out the Magma Trooper video that do it.
Magma.
I'm going to melt every city in the world with liquid hot magma. I was worried that was going to be seen as a loop. It's technically not a loop because he gets up to 90% turn meter. He gets fed 90% turn meter, not 100% turn meter, and it can go sideways for him in a lot of different ways. It's not an auto team. It's very RNG-y. So that's I think that the definition of a loop is that team that was just discovered. It's always a little bit revealing how quickly the company will act on things like the Jawa team that could solo P3 so easily, or this one, it's like all of a sudden it's like all hands on deck, but we can deal with Tebow's broken mechanic for for a year, or there's no rush to fix something that's a little bit of a that I don't want to say hurts the player, but that is a negative thing for on the player's end. So yeah, it's too bad. I think that they have to be careful with this one. But again, maybe it might be fine. let's chill and calm and wait and see. The only problem with that is that sometimes we can get decisions to be reversed when we're fussy about it. And if we wait and see, sometimes the fervor and excitement and anger kind of peters out. So I kind of don't want us to wait to see with the thing. I do want it to be known that it's, be careful with this one. Don't limit the creativity of players, because that's what this game is all about. It's a game that you mash buttons on a mobile phone, but that you can have genius combinations that have been sitting there right in front of your damn face for a year, and someone comes up with something. That simple genius is my favorite thing about humanity, and you see it all the time in this game. It's like, damn, I have that character at Gear 12, I have that one at Gear 12, and I just couldn't put two and two together, and somebody else did, and wow, so let's not limit those from happening.
T-Money, you've gotten more intellectual since you came back from Mexico.
Is that the case? Yeah. Maybe you just weren't paying attention before. Maybe you just missed me.
Well,
maybe
no, I remember when T-Money first ever joined a stream and was so nervous she drank a whole bottle of booze. It was wonderful. And now,
Saturday morning.
And now look at her. All right, last question to Warrior from Nathaniel Miller. Question: what do you think they'll do to nerf Paper Zombie? My guess is to make her deaths not count. Get a spitball there.
Honestly, I have no idea what they're going to do. They're going to have to completely rework the kit. I don't see them. I mean, I don't know. They know they have to actually make foundational changes to the character. Same thing with the other character. So the Acolyte. So what I see is 2 reworks incoming, but I don't know. I have no idea how they're going to fix that. Creativity is not on my highest of skill sets, so not sure how they're going to fix it.
Well, what else? Let me throw a quick question in for you as well. Warrior says, question, and this is the last one. Has anyone else seen an increase in the use of Phantom as a reinforcement since Warrior put his video out about it? I do. Thanks, Warrior.
Yeah, a lot of people are using it now, but there was a lot of people using it before. I think it's just a really good reinforcement ship. The irony of that is shortly after I put that video out, I pulled it as a reinforcement.
Oops.
But that's because I went with a uniquely different strategy for the last couple of weeks or so, but I actually just this morning put it back in as a reinforcement. I'm doing 4 attackers, because if you have 4 attackers, and you can put them in the order that you like.
There you go. All right, now we get the fun questions, and then we'll close it out. Thane Kyrell has a question for you as well, where he says, how expensive has the arm race been between TI and Wallet Warriors? That's right, Zay. What's it like, Zay?
Question.
Yeah, I don't know. They're I think the Wallet Warriors are going to surpass us in GP, I think, truly. They're definitely outspending us as far as a guild versus guild. I know we got a ton of massive whales in TI, but they're definitely investing thousands more per month because they're closing the gap quickly. I don't think being the #1 GP guild matters. I think being the #1 strategy guild. And if I was going to give that, there's a couple other guilds at about 180 million GP that they punch way above their weight. Skelterex is actually in one of them. So there's some really good teams out there between the 160 to 180 that they punch above their weight, 20 to 30 million GP and win consistently, and that to me is the most impressive, not just GP. So yeah.
All right, Come Cobra, a question for Team Money. Get your ass back to the mature stream tonight.
I think it's get your ass back to the mature stream tonight.
That's what it is.
That would be a question.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't wait to come to the mature stream tonight.
Drunken chaos shall ensue.
Yeah.
Come Cobra question. Will Warrior shave Sure Shot's beard while he's sleeping and video it for us?
What?
Yeah, that's never going to happen. Sure Shot would probably shoot me in the face before I ever got to his beard. Yeah. He's a Second Amendment believer, so he's got more firepower than me. And if I was sneaking it up on him in the middle of the night at his house, I think I wouldn't survive that encounter.
Saintly Red question. This is the last one. How will CG try to take back August this year?
Night Sister nerf.
That's hurting my feelings. Can we stop talking about this now? You don't understand. I'm like, Mexico, beautiful scuba-ing. Oh, look, home, yay, RSG. Oh, what? What
are you kidding? I leave for
2 weeks, and what do you guys let happen? No.
They saved the game. No more Paper Zombie.
No, Paper Zombie is awesome.
Participation trophies mean
Gear 12
nothing.
Zombie is awesome too. That's the thing. It's not like Gear 12 Zombie isn't fantastic.
She's
like,
really good.
She's so good. I sit right in the middle. I'm like this like loser. I have my zombie at Gear 9, you know? But like, you know, Gear 12 Zombie is amazing, but so is Low Gear Zombie, you know? Like, it's just like Gear 12 Old Ben with all the health pieces and everything and his Zetas. That's a amazing character. You can also get a lot out of Old Ben at Gear 10, you know, or Gear 9. Like there's that one in Arena with the CLS team he runs him at Gear 9. That's a scary Old Ben. You're like, stop, Old Ben. Like, oh, I removed your taunt. There it is back again. I'm gonna have to kill you, and it can get away on you really fast. And no, leave her alone.
Did Relon join us? I see him in Skype. With my Skype.
Yeah, I see him here now. Remon, are you here?
Snuck in.
I'm here.
Remon, you gotta say something, fool.
He's too polite, that one.
I was late. I didn't want to interrupt you guys. You know what I'm saying? I just wanted to.
You should have typed in chat, because then I can tell Ranger that you're here.
Jesus Christ! I
was just kind of chilling in the. I was just kind of chilling in the cut here. You know what I'm saying? Just hanging out, and figured that you guys would let you guys do your thing, and maybe I don't know. I thought maybe you guys were like wrapping up the stream. I was going to hang out the chat afterwards, but I mean,
okay.
But I mean, I'm here. I mean, if you have any questions, I'm here
they're
to
all
talk.
done.
No, there's one question. There's always one question. Remon, how do you feel about the Night Sister zombie nerf that's coming in, and the fact that Team Money hates it?
Well,
be honest.
I mean, I think it's. What were you gonna say?
No, I was saying, be honest.
Be honest.
Yeah, I'm not really. I'm not really thrilled about it. I think the Night Sister Zombie kind of works as intended. Why exactly are they nerfing Night Sister Zombie? Because of the Skelturix video?
No, it's two separate things. The reason they're doing it is that at least they said it is because they've been looking at Night Sister Zombie for a while and they didn't want to have people benefiting from a undergeared character. I don't know why it took them this long, but essentially they want to avoid Paper Zombie and rewarding.
Basically, they're nerfing Night Sister Zombie for her effectiveness in P4, basically, right? I mean,
yeah, that was the reasoning that they're giving. Yeah, because people are keeping a weak zombie and getting better score than people with stronger zombies.
I mean, I understand their decision there, but that is kind of. I understand the nerfing or the correction of what happened with the 7-star Treya and that combo by Nice Sekka in the raid yesterday that came out in Skelturix's video. I understand that there's a loop in that and that shouldn't be allowed. I mean that makes sense, but
I think that the Night Sister zombie strat still leaves room for error and for you to lose. So I think that that's not quite the same thing. I don't think that that's really like taking advantage. I think that's more of a situation where they see that to some players it may be more beneficial to not invest in a character than it is to invest in a character, and they just want obviously people to spend more money. And that's unfortunately not a good reason to nerf a character. That's what I think.
So let it be written. So let it be done. All right, so we're at that point now. You say you're going to hang out and chat afterwards, Remon, with the folks? Or what are you doing?
Yes.
Where's that going to be at?
I was gonna hang out with you after chat. I mean, I thought we were gonna. Normally we chat for a few minutes after the show, so I figured I was gonna hang out. And
Skype. Yeah, we do that anyway before we all say our goodbyes and stuff. So okay.
You guys, like,
oh, you're talking about chat.
Show after party.
Yeah, chat. The string. All right, so let's let everybody pimp their stuff. Let's start with the birthday boy himself, Mr. Warrior. Warrior. Happy birthday again.
Birthday.
And where can folks check out your incredible stuff at?
They can check me out on YouTube at Warrior Presents, or they can hit me up on Twitter at Warrior Present, or they can find me on Facebook, and there they get to discuss lots of stuff. I'm really an integral part of that. By the way, I had an epiphany, and I had the epiphany because of somebody else that had this epiphany. Everybody says that Reddit is super negative, and like all these people are like uber trolls and stuff. And I always felt the same way. I always thought, man, this Reddit community is trash. And I hate to say that because anyone on Reddit's probably like, he's such a dick. But
no, that's science.
They're so negative, and I was just like, why is it that like the hyper trolls of the trolls are on Reddit? And then it hit this other guy, and he posted a post, and I read it, and I'm like, those are my sentiments exactly. They go to the forums to share genuine concern and their frustrations and their struggles, and all of their frustrations and struggles and anger and all of that gets deleted. And so they're looking for an outlet. And so when you've got something positive and you can go to the forums with it, then you don't need to go to Reddit. But when you put something out and it's your frustrations and they delete it in 12 minutes, you have to go to Reddit to share that frustration. So because of that, it has turned, because their forums are so cold to only good stuff, the Reddit is a necessary evil to give people a voice for their frustrations in the game. And it actually opened up my eyes. I'm like, you know what? I got to start going to Reddit, and I got to start participating, because I think the community there is just, it's got a real negative overtone, because it's their opportunity to be heard. And I want to be in there, and I want to start interacting with those guys too, because I feel like they want to be heard and they want to be listened to. And as a game changer, someone who does talk to the developers, I think there's some good in there that needs to be pulled out and packaged up in a way that maybe isn't offensive, and then given to the developers as positive, feedback, or opportunistic feedback. And so you will start to see my presence in Reddit more because of that. So hopefully the toxicity doesn't get to me, and that I can oversee a lot of that and try to pull the positive stuff out of there as well, even if it's packaged in a negative way, to be able to hopefully help in some small way the community with that.
No, that's a great point. The Canadian Communist yourself, T-Money, the maple syrup eater. Where can folks check you out at, eh?
Indeed. Did you just call me a maple syrup hater?
No.
Okay. Because that's like the C word in Canada. You can't say that.
Well, listen, I know my international relationships. Goddamn, pimp your stuff, T.
Okay, so I am on 3 different channels, pretty religiously. RSG this morning, and RSG Mature tonight. I guess RSG Mature is a separate channel. RSG Mature tonight, where we have fun and hang out, play games, and just giggle and kind of warm our hearts with the community. It's a lot of fun. League of Extraordinary Nerf Herders. It's also a wonderful, tight little family on Thursday nights at 10:30 Eastern Standard Time. Search League of Extraordinary Nerf Herders, and we are the ones with a fuzzy background. Lots of great game, really in-depth game discussion. If you can get through the first 45 minutes of us fooling around and being 14-year-old idiots, sitting in our garage and making fun of stuff. And then Operation Metaverse, which is my new project with good old Maurice, and that is search Operation Metaverse online. I think Finn, is the link in the description these days?
It should be. I think I have that link. Yeah, I have Operation Metaverse.
Awesome. It's a few months old now, and we have been building a little plan we've been silent over the last few weeks because we've been building a plan. And this plan is, I'm super excited about it. We're starting a stream on Tuesday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And the stream is going to be a little bit different. We're going to, every week, for those who are kind enough to show up and listen to the live stream itself, it's going to be very segmented. We're going to have interviews every week. It's going to be kind of like a feature show or a talk show where it's quite scheduled. So it's I really want to pack it full of information. That's what our channel is about, is giving you as much information as we can in the shortest period of time. And then every week we're going to release a video. So we have one coming this next week that I guarantee, if you're not using it already, and I've seen very few guilds using it, it will change the way that you lay out your that you set one of your very, very key Territory Wars tunes. And the week after that, yes, we have videos planned for the next little while, and we hope to the RNG gods that they are meta changing and meta breaking, and that really help push and pull and move the game around. So that's Tuesday at 9 p.m. and our first one is coming up next week. Eek.
Okay. Mikey, you're kind of part of the RSG crew, but you want to pimp your channel? I don't know if you've been doing anything on it.
Yeah, I have actually. Stupidly forgot to put the sound on, but it was with my alt. Chrome Cobra got me into a guild that's doing heroic tank and pit, and York has finally unlocked Han Solo, so I've got that coming out. And a few other bits and bobs, as discussed, the BSBJ Jedis. Trying to do more and more with them, and also I just want to give my guild a shout out. We're 5th overall in Territory War points, or whatever you call it, at the moment, and I'm just blown away by that.
Have you changed your guys' name to Cheese Factory?
I'm sorry,
You're not.
But I mean, a win's a win. That's it.
It is. All is fair in love and war.
Was actually with you? Was it you, T-Money? Was it your guild that won by 1 point?
No, that's OG Wolfpack against Oro, and they won 1 point. But yeah. There's...
No, all I was going to say is that, of course, Ranger was saying I joined the lunchtime stream and we went against Rangers Guild and we won. You're very
you're a very bad man.
I'm
Do
sorry.
people know what you're talking about? They know what's going
on.
It's a balance of offense and defense, right? So
that's not what happened. The
coolest part of Territory Wars.
Yeah, that's not what happened. No, that's not what happened here. Yeah.
What happened?
Yeah.
Oh, never mind. Maybe we don't talk about it anymore.
But yeah, Mike Hunt at SWGOH. Pop on by.
All right. Remon, where can folks check you out at, man? I know you got here late, but where can folks look you up?
Well, I have a YouTube channel
Sure.
at Mona Zob, and You can find me on Twitter at Ramonazab. Also, I want to say happy birthday to Warrior.
Of course.
Warrior's awesome, so he deserves all the congratulations.
Yeah.
You're another year on the planet, But when you're Warrior, you get congratulations for your birthday. No, honestly, we have a live show on Sunday nights. Me and good old Maurice. Every Sunday at around midnight. We'll be doing that again this weekend. So that's tomorrow night. Check that out. I also make videos pretty frequently on my YouTube channel. I have one out from this morning actually. So check that out. And I'm here on Saturdays, and me and Maurice are actually starting a weekly live show on Friday nights now too. It's going to be a segmented style show where we do a talk show and have people come on, and we just kind of discuss things, and that'll be starting next Friday. So check that out too.
Very nice. All right, King Felix, any shout outs you want to do?
Watch RSG.
Okay.
Yeah, that's all I got.
And Finn, anything you want to pimp?
Ditto to what King Felix said.
Okay.
That's right. Science.
Yeah, that is science. All right, thank you everybody for joining us. We are, you haven't subscribed, what are you waiting for? Not only that, but all these other wonderful YouTubers and game changers that are on. Check out their stuff, guys. It really helps their channels grow. It helps the community grow. If you like the content that they put out, it doesn't hurt to subscribe. You're obviously listening to us, so you must like what we talk about and what we say and what we put out. So hit that subscribe button. It really does help with monetization. It keeps us going. Your feedback is very important. So give me thumbs up on videos and leaving comments, constructive comments. They can be negative. Just don't be an ass clown. Our policy is if you're an ass clown, we just delete you. But yeah, any kind of constructive, positive or negative, it's always good. We have our Patreon, as I'm sure everybody else here does. You can check that out here. It's linked down below. We will be on tonight for the Mature Stream, 10 p.m. Eastern, where we just hang out, get drunk, and have fun. Just talk about the game and get goofy. And then tomorrow at 5 p.m. Eastern will be our D&D campaign continuing on in the Forgotten Realms as we continue on our epic journey. And then next week, of course, we start all over again, Monday through Friday from 12 to 1, where we have the lunch stream. And then Wednesday, of course, the longest running live stream where the community, Star Wars Galaxy Heroes, where from Wednesday 8 p.m. we cover all the latest and greatest news and notes and break it down and tell you what it all means. So, that being said, I want to thank my guests for being on. I want to thank everybody else here for being on. Everyone have a great rest of your weekend. If we don't check out tonight or tomorrow, we'll check out whenever we do. Have a great rest of your day, and we will holler at you later. Peace.